If you're in the market for a camping fan that has a 20,000 milliamp battery, that oscillates, has an impressive fan, it has a light, and it charges your devices, well, this video is for you. Welcome back to another Jeff Reviews for you. And as you can see in this video, we are looking at a camping fan that is full of a lot. You know what though? Enough talk. Let's get right into this review. Here's our camping fan. I do appreciate the graphics on the box. You know what? Let's open this up to see exactly what we get. Check that out. How cool. We had to turn it on and try out some of the features. As you can see, yes, it's a fan. Yes, it has a light, but it also oscillates. This thing is really too cool. In the box, we had a remote control. We had a charging cable that's USB to USB-C. And of course, we have our directions. We are going to test out the fan, but check this out. The light, it actually has 3 different brightness settings. There's low, medium, and high. And after reading through the directions, if you utilize just the light, you get between 39 hours and 130 hours, depending on which setting of light you use. I know when I go camping, it's always extra important to have additional light sources. That is cool on this fan. Just to give you an idea of how much this illuminates, I have my studio lights off, and right now we have this camping fan light on low. Here we are on medium, and there we are on high. It is very, very bright. Of course, you didn't come here to see a light. Let's talk about the fan. It actually has a spin dial. You can see there are different settings of this fan. It starts out with 25, then 50, then 75, and all the way up to 100%. And although we did not actually do a wind test yet, wow, this thing is pretty powerful. It's hard to believe that there are more features, but it also has an oscillating feature. So I can click this button right here to change between a 30-degree oscillating, 60-degree oscillating, 90 degrees, or 120-degree oscillating. Wow, this thing just packs a punch, and it has a lot of cool features. The left to right oscillating was controlled by the system, but check this out. You can also move this up and down, actually in a big circle if you wanted to, so you can really change the direction of your fan. Now that part is all manual, but the oscillating does move with the touch of a button. For those of you that may not want to have this run all the time, you can set a timer between 1, 2, 4, and 8 hours, and once it reaches the end of that time, well, it'll just shut off. Speaking of running this at night, by a touch of a button, you can turn all of these blue lights off. That's a really neat feature just because some of those things are really bright at night, but with this fan, you can turn off those lights and, well, it doesn't bother you, and you still get that cooling effect. They really make things extra convenient. Not only is there a carrying handle on the top, but if I turn this thing upside down, there's actually a hook right here. This hook is used to hang it from, I don't know, something in your tent, your RV, your car, whatnot. If you're camping, you can actually just have this thing hung, and well, if we turn it on, it'll oscillate and everything and keep you cool. I think it's neat that you can have this thing hung and it still works. That's an added convenience to this camping fan. We spun around to the back of the fan because I wanted to show you 2 different things. This fan is equipped with a 20,000 milliamp battery, and that can be used for the fan, for the light, but guess what else? It can also charge your devices like your phone or your tablet. That's cool. So right here we have a USB-C in and out, and we have a USB out. What we want to do now is test the fan speed. So let's just put that on 25%. I have my anemometer right here in front. Remember how I told you this was pretty powerful? So just the lowest setting, you're running about 7.4 miles per hour. Let's turn that up to 50%. At 50%, we went to right around 8.7 miles per hour. Let's put this up to 75%. Max speed around 10.8 miles per hour. Let's put this thing up to 100%. Remember how I told you earlier that was really, really powerful? We're right around 12.7 miles per hour. That's pretty impressive. I'm actually gonna run this thing completely dead. We did have a charge from the factory. Although it tells me I'm at 100%, I don't really know if I'm there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let this run completely out because I wanna test that fast charger. It tells us we have a 20-watt fast charger, so we're gonna let this run completely dead. Since the company advertises this as something that you can hang from a tent or whatever, I wanna make sure we get a weight. It's 3 pounds, 4.6 ounces, and that includes that 20,000 milliamp battery. It's actually not as heavy as you would think it would be. If we look at the measurement of the fan itself, you can see that it's right around 8 inches tall, just the fan part. If we go from the base all the way up, you're right around 13 inches tall, and at your widest point, you're just over 10 inches. That's a pretty compact fan. The company also tells us this is a quiet running fan, so it has reduced noise, and so we have our sound meter right here next to the fan. Let's go quiet. As you can see it right there around 66 decibels, which is pretty quiet. Also, this phone is right next to the fan. Across the room, it's not as loud. This is a good time to talk about the remote control, and as you can see on the remote, you have all of the same exact features on the remote as you do on the fan itself. That makes it really convenient because now you do not have to be sitting right next to the fan to control the fan. I just wish there was a place on this fan that I can store my remote control. But there is. This company has really thought about everything. Right here on the back of the fan, there is a remote control holder. What is there to complain about? I love that included spot just to hold the remote. Before you use your remote for the first time, make sure to remove this plastic piece that separates the battery from the remote. Speaking of battery, this is a button battery. It's a CR2032 if you have to replace it. So, tell me, what are your thoughts of this camping fan? Pretty impressive. Do you have another one you recommend? Let me know down in the comment section below. I would love to hear from you. Our battery has run completely out. I do have the included USB-C plugged into just a USB port. It does not come with the power brick, so we are charging that now. Now, this cable is only 3 feet long, just so you're aware of that. It's been charging for about 3.5 hours, and each time it would sort of like blink between the indicators. As you can see, it's blinking at that 100%, so I'm waiting for that to be fully charged. This is moving very, very fast. That 20-watt fast charger is no joke. So I'll bring it back once it's completely charged at 100%. We did it. We are completely charged, and honestly, for me, it was just over 4 hours, a little less than what the company told us of that 4.5 hours, but that is really impressive from completely dead all the way to charge in just over 4 hours. Wow, that's pretty impressive, especially since this is a 20,000 milliamp battery. In this video, we are able to take a look at a camping fan that has a light, it oscillates, it even is able to charge your devices. So what do we think of it? First things first, let's talk about that price point. At this video's filming, I was able to catch it right around $50. I had it on special, and I thought that's a really good price point, especially for what you're getting. It does have a full retail price for $80, so if you're able to catch it on sale, you're definitely getting a bargain. I was really impressed with a 20,000 milliamp battery. When I utilized this on full and it was oscillating with the light, I got well over 12 hours of use. And of course, we did check the charge, just over 4 hours. It's actually really, really convenient. Not to mention, if you don't use the fan or the light, you can actually charge your devices, a phone just like this. You can do between 5 and 10 charges depending on how big the battery is in your device. I do love the light. I love the oscillating. I like that it's low noise. It really is convenient for camping. I should note that I was not able to utilize this fan while it was plugged in. Now, don't get me wrong, it does sort of charge, but it eventually will run out of battery, so it's not something you can leave plugged in and just run forever. Once the battery is out, you do have to charge it back up again to get it to use again. I kind of thought it would be cool if you could run this while plugged in all the time. It just doesn't have that feature built in. I did try hanging this from a tent, and although I do like having the hook, that 3+ pounds was a little much for at least my setup. So if you're gonna hang this from a tent, make sure it's definitely something that is secure. Anyway, that was my full review of this camping fan. If this is something that interests you, I will leave a link down in the description. This is Jeff with Jeff Reviews for You. As always, thanks for stopping by, and I hope you have a great day.